Hello, friends. I want to share something important, something I've realized after 73 years of managing money and getting it wrong. You think your money problems will fix themselves someday, don't you? You think there's always more time to save, to invest wisely, to correct the mistakes you're making right now, next year, after the promotion, when things finally settle down. But what if I told you that's the biggest financial lie we tell ourselves? What if I told you that the decisions you're postponing today are silently shaping a future you might not be able to afford? I'm 73 years old, and I paid dearly to learn this. Today, I want to tell you what money never teaches you until it's almost too late. For the first 50 years of my life, I thought I was smart with money. I earned well. I paid my bills. I looked successful from the outside, but I confused income with wisdom. I chased promotions, bigger paychecks, status symbols. I believed that as long as more money was coming in, everything would eventually work out. I stayed late at the office, telling myself I was providing. I skipped family moments, convinced I was being responsible, but I never truly asked where my money was going or what it was costing me. I postponed saving seriously, postponed investing, postponed learning. I'll start next year, I said, when I earn more, when things are more stable. Years passed. Some mornings I'd sit at the kitchen table, cold coffee beside me, bank statements and bills spread out, and feel an unease I couldn't explain. I was making money, but somehow it was slipping through my fingers. And deep down, I knew I wasn't in control. I was just busy. It was an ordinary workday, a meeting about budgets, projections, retirement forecasts, numbers on a screen, assumptions about later. Then my chest tightened. At first I thought it was stress, too much coffee, too many deadlines. But then the pain came, sharp, undeniable. As everything blurred, one thought terrified me more than death itself. I don't actually know if I'm financially ready for anything. I woke up in a hospital bed, machines beeping, my wife holding my hand. The doctor said, "You're lucky." But lying there, I wasn't thinking about my career. I was thinking about unpaid debts, money decisions I avoided, retirement plans built on hope instead of clarity. I realized something terrifying. I had spent decades working for money without ever making money work for me. In that hospital room, I understood something most people realize too late. Money doesn't forgive procrastination. Time can heal many things, but time punishes bad financial habits. I thought about how often I ignored statements, how often I trusted experts without understanding, how often I chose comfort now over security later. I wasn't reckless. I was worse. I was passive. And passivity is expensive. I finally saw the truth. It wasn't lack of income that hurt me. It was lack of intention. For decades, I told myself, I'll save later. I'll invest later. I'll learn later. Later never came. Market cycles changed. Opportunities passed. Time disappeared quietly. Every year I delayed, the cost multiplied, not just in money, but in options. Freedom delayed becomes freedom denied. I learned that every later in finance has interest attached to it, and it compounds against you. I thought earning more meant winning, but one morning, staring at my balance sheet, I realized something painful. I was climbing higher, on a ladder, leaning against the wrong wall. More income, more stress, more spending, no clarity, no strategy, no peace. True wealth isn't how much you earn. It's how much control you have over your future. And I had very little. A close friend of mine earned more than I ever did. Luxury car, big house, no savings. He planned to sort it out later. Then illness came. Work stopped. Income vanished. The house was sold. The car was gone. Pride disappeared first. At his lowest point, he said something I'll never forget. I thought money would always be there. That sentence still haunts me. My biggest financial regrets aren't about risks I took. They're about risks I never took, questions I never asked, lessons I avoided learning. I regret not understanding money earlier, not respecting time, not realizing that small decisions repeated daily shape entire lives. Money is not just currency. It's time, choices, freedom, and I treated it casually. After that heart attack, I stopped lying to myself. I simplified, I learned, I took responsibility, I stopped chasing appearances and started building stability. I focused on clarity instead of speed, on sustainability instead of status. And for the first time in my life, money stopped controlling my emotions. If you're watching this and thinking, I'll deal with my finances later, please listen to a 73-year-old man. Later is expensive, later is dangerous, later is not guaranteed. Learn now, plan now, pay attention now, because money mistakes don't scream. They whisper for decades. Ask yourself honestly, if your income stopped tomorrow, how long would your life stay the same? If that question scares you, good. Fear is cheaper than regret. Start today, not perfectly, but consciously. There's one thing I truly wish I had known when I was younger. Financial problems rarely arrive suddenly. They arrive quietly. First, small signals, a subtle discomfort, a feeling that something isn't right, and you ignore them because life is busy, because you believe you still have time, until one day you realize you didn't make one mistake. You postponed for years. Major financial disasters almost never begin with big decisions. They begin with small ones, not checking statements, not understanding the details, trusting without clarity. Each of these choices feels harmless, not worth worrying about. But money remembers everything. It rewards attention, and it punishes neglect very expensively. For years I told myself, I'm doing fine. Bills were paid, work was steady, life looked stable. But fine is a dangerous word in finance. Fine means unprepared. Fine means exposed. Fine lasts only until something goes wrong, and when it does, there is no time left to prepare. If you're younger than me, and you are, please don't think this story is about someone else. I was young once too. I also believed time was on my side. It isn't. Time doesn't wait. Time doesn't warn. Time simply sends the bill, and the interest on it grows every year. Looking back on everything I've lived through, I realize one thing. Financial freedom isn't about wealth. It's about control. The ability to make choices without being limited by circumstances. We often think money solves problems on its own, but in reality, it only reflects our decisions. Every step we take, every choice we make, shapes not our bank balance, but the level of freedom and peace in our lives. Happiness and security cannot be bought. They are created by awareness, discipline, and responsibility. Sometimes it's easier to do what's convenient today than what's right for tomorrow. But the right decisions, even the small and unseen ones, accumulate and give real strength. There is no magic formula. There is only your willingness to learn, reflect, and act. When you take responsibility into your own hands, when you control your choices instead of letting circumstances control you, you become free. Not free from money, but free in life. This lesson costs more than any loss. Yet it is priceless because it gives peace, calm, and the freedom to live the life you're proud of. This is the essence of financial wisdom, not how much money you have, but your ability to manage it. Not for wealth alone, but for your own freedom and a life worth living. When you get older, you start noticing things that once seemed small. How many times did you postpone a call to your child because I'm busy right now? How many mornings did you drink coffee alone, thinking about work instead of yourself? I see my friends. Some live on autopilot, still believing that money will solve everything. Others quietly plan, read, discuss, spend time with family, take small steps every day. I remember my first large medical bill when health suddenly mattered more than anything else. I've seen friends who weren't prepared and they paid dearly, not just financially, but emotionally. Looking at your life from this perspective, you realize money is just a tool. What matters is how you use it and how you live each day. Every morning coffee, every reviewed bill, every conversation with children or grandchildren, it's a choice. Small steps that build your freedom, peace, and happiness. Sometimes it feels like nothing changes, like the routine just repeats. But every day is a chance to do better. The little things accumulate into the big picture. How you spend your time, who you listen to, whom you help, what you plan. I've also seen people who, even with enough money, did not feel free because they postponed making choices. Their days were filled with worry and regret, not calm and joy. True value is living consciously, letting your decisions work for you, not just to survive or get through the day. If you're younger, this may seem obvious, but over time, you see that daily choices shape everything: your peace, your joy, your ability to feel free in your own life. So I say, don't wait for a miracle and don't look for secrets. Just pay attention to your day. Take small steps that preserve control, freedom, and connection with those you love. And even if you make mistakes, they don't define you. You can always start over with awareness and determination so your life has meaning, peace, and joy. When you look back, you realize it's not the bills, investments, or purchases that define your life. It's the moments, choices, and relationships you built every single day. This is the true legacy. Not money, but the freedom to live your life, peace in your heart, and confidence in the days ahead. Write in the comments, what financial decision did you delay and wish you hadn't? And if this story resonated with you, subscribe, because some lessons are cheaper to learn from others.